Comcast. Stewart fires off this automatic discount white bright gun and completes the entire logo in about 2 seconds. The letter I is about 5 pegs wide by 45 pegs high, and there are 22 total letter sections approximately the same size as the I, in addition to 8 smaller horizontal sections that look to be about 5 by 8 light pegs in volume. This means Stewart fired off about 5,270 pegs in 2 seconds, which puts that gun at about a 30 times faster firing rate than any single-barrel weapon in the history of weapons, and Stewart should be arrested immediately. Also, I'm calling bullshit on his aim with that kind of speed, especially since his monovision would hinder his perception of depth. Also, when Bob was placing the pegs manually, he placed them directly above each other vertically. But on the wide shot, his pegs are clearly more spaced vertically than the pegs in the logo, meaning this grid either has variable grid holes or Stewart's gun just created its own. And my point is, I'm furious I've had to spend this much of my time in the first minute of an animated film sitting in proper pegging techniques, leaving every single light on in your 9-story castle school. I mean, I know you're villains, but the environment impacts us all. Wearing sunglasses at night.
Okay, our target is Maxim Lamal, one of the Anti-Villain League's most wanted.
Choosing not to have the mission briefing back at headquarters, but instead waiting to have it at full volume in the parking lot of the villain's location. Plaid flannel clown hockey mask villain is in a conversation right in front of Gru as they enter, and also in a conversation directly to his right. And while there could be a world where there are 2 of these guys, you and I both know that world is more likely called Animation Shortcut Land.
Anyway, you remember my girlfriend, Valentina? She was captain of the Femme Fatale Chill Squad and the most popular girl at school, huh?
The thing about Will Ferrell's, I'm going to say, French accent in this movie is that it's not only terrible, it also handcuffs his ability to be comedic in his own voice. Somewhere a voice actor is going hungry because the movie wanted a famous name on its poster and no other reason.
What happened, Gru? All your dreams of becoming a famous villain, they go poof poof, huh?
I'm not sure any of these assholes' dreams came true, since they have to be the stupidest villains ever if they think gathering in one place where they could all be easily caught is a good idea.
And I have found a way to harness the strength and the speed. And what is the word? Unsquishability?
That is most definitely not the word, nor is it something cockroaches are. I'm just saying if Maxim steps on that little guy, he's about to have his own Elon's Unbreakable Cybertruck Windows moment. Oh, the hilarity of spraying pest control chemicals into your friend's mouth in a movie made for impressionable children. Also, the minions randomly bringing a bug swatter and pest control spray is random. There are at least 11 AVL agents encircling Maxim, but when he fights them, he only has to take out 5. Did the others run away? Even this guy over here who already had a stun gun pointed at him? Calling this movie Despicable Me 4, even though there have been 2 Minions movies that are essentially Despicable Me movies. The last one was f***ing subtitled The Rise of Gru. You're not fooling anyone, Illumination.
Lucky, sit. Aw, Lucky, I said sit.
Being disappointed when, honestly, shitting on command is way more impressive than just sitting down.
Something is missing.
Who has 2 baby thumbs and has been unnaturally still, silent, and hidden for 3 minutes just for an anticlimactic audience reveal?
This guy.
Da-da.
You guessed it, a big plot point of this movie will be getting baby Gru to say dada and bond with his father, because this tin man of a movie wanted a heart, so it decided to staple this plot line on to see if it would start beating.
Phil, Ralph, run!
They have a whole Minions cleaning crew to change a diaper and wipe off Gru Jr.'s face, but as far as I can tell, no one has cleaned up Lucky
Ramsbottom?
Bottom.
Stealing your sense of humor from Beavis and Butthead so you can use it for Beavis and Butthead and Butthead.
Maxim Lamal has sent you a message from prison.
And it starts with old television signal static, as most digital video files today are wont to do. The scarf that Gru didn't bother to tuck all the way into his suitcase has somehow tucked itself into the suitcase in the few seconds it took for him to get to the door.
And you promised to take care of the other minions?
They'll be safe and sound at AVL headquarters. I have big plans for them.
We've titled the plans D-Plot Shenanigans that will hopefully keep the Minions fans happy, even though this is technically a Despicable Me movie, because that matters, I guess.
So this ends now, or you're gonna see a side of Carl you do not want to see.
Assuming you know which sides of Carl I want to see.
And here it is, your new home.
If he tries to make us feel bad about a 3-story home because it needs a paint job and a lawn mowed and isn't a mansion like the homes beside it. Capitalism much, movie? How's the peeping, Poppy? How's the beeping? Poppy, Poppy, Poppy.
What it lacks in comfort, it more than makes up for in functionality.
Because when I think of a house having only things that serve to its functionality, a machine that requires payment to secure said items in it has to be at the top of the list.
Now, you are a solar panel salesman.
Solar panel salespeople. Look, solar is fine, and everyone has to earn a living, but door-to-door sales is an evil practice, and one of the last vestiges of an ancient world that should have died sometime between the search engine and the large language model. We are going on the third full minute of this family who is anxious to know about their new home hanging out in the foyer area of this home to talk and not actually checking out the house. All of which is even more insane considering they have 4 children who are likely bouncing off the walls in there.
I don't make people awkward or uncomfortable. I'm very comforting.
But it's funny because he's being the opposite of comforting. Do you get it? Can I leave now?
We need a break from chasing down villains and dangerous missions, right?
Thinking you could escape the boring formulaic definition of your franchise 4-6 movies in. They really were just like, how about Ant-Man, but with cockroaches, and instead of having the bugs do interesting bug-specific things, let's go with welcome back picket signs and rolling out a carpet.
I'm free to do what I want and have a good time.
Taking the soup dragons in vain.
And a special merci beaucoup to everyone who helped me break out of AVL prison. Todd and Linda, where are you? Where are you? Yes, for distracting the guards.
The movie chooses to not show us how Todd and Linda, 2 cockroaches, managed to distract guards and allow Maxim to break out of prison. They found it easier to get Ralph into swimming apparel and to move the vending machine to the pool area than to just simply get Ralph out of the vending machine.
We've got Chad's famous super cheesy scrambled eggs.
Scrambling eggs that have the consistency and appearance of cream corn.
Don't think of it as lying. Think of it as high stakes pretending.
Politics. Putting an infant in a front-facing car seat.
I'm your new neighbor, Chet Cunningham.
Treating your neighbors like actual humans instead of the pod people they most certainly are. How am I supposed to believe this is a cell phone without a giant camera array on the back of it? What is this, 2019?
Doc!
This line of cars goes from 0 to 60 honks a second in no time flat. Start with a test honk, Susan, then lose your shit. But why would it see through everything but a banana?
You will be the first to test our super serum, designed to transform you into elite agents.
Script spends time on this Marvel ripoff and forgets to have any shame about it. Takes the super serum from Captain America and creates literal minion copies of Hulk, Cyclops, Mr. Fantastic, The Thing, and, MODOK? My point is, if you're going to be this derivative, at least have the decency to hang a lantern on it with some sort of meta joke.
I give you the Mega Minions.
Naming your superhero team after a lotto drawing. Also, Despicable Me has managed to become a super successful non-superhero related franchise. So why not turn it into more of a superhero related franchise? Considering Wood Retrieval Girl only grabs the large pieces of wood, I'm going to assume this poster says love, devotion, strength, energy, instinct, trust, foot splitters. Having your power strip located directly under the water cooler? Are you trying to Final Destination one of these kids or what?
You picked the wrong dojo.
Movie expects us to believe there is such a thing in this world as the right dojo.
I have to say, this is quite a resume.
Not being able to write a whole movie about the French cockroach guy, and instead spending the last several minutes on establishing the C, E, and D plots of the Mega Minions, the kids taking karate lessons from the asshole karate instructor, and Lucy attempting to be a hairstylist even though she apparently has no training and sucks at it. Wait, why did they assign Lucy a new identity as a hairstylist if she has no training and sucks at it? Wait, is this a Final Destination movie? I'm not gonna lie, I might be on board for that. Holding your tiny cheer signs this far away and backward and thinking it could still be read by anyone but the viewer at home.
You've got your bottle, your binky, and here are your balloons.
Bottle? Binky? Balloons? Is today's Sesame Street brought to you by the letter B? And the numbers, who buys balloons for an infant unless they're meant to create an opportunity for more false relationship tension? Based on Gru's reaction to hot steaming coffee pouring on his head, and Melora's reaction earlier to chemical burns on the top of her head, this universe is inhabited by people with numb scalps, and I don't like it. Also, it's obvious Gru Jr. is simply a less impressive Jack, and I don't like that either. Putting soft drinks in a non-refrigerated snack-filled vending machine. Also, the one I think is named Ron presses A and H here to release a soda can, even though this machine doesn't even use the letters as its location system.
Good night, Ralph.
Can I just rant for a second about this movie's need to create 3 new minion names in this movie, even though they follow the same pattern as the old ones? This movie gives us Phil, Ron, and Ralph as if 95% of the audience doesn't just assume these are still Kevin, Stuart, and Bob no matter what's being said on screen. From here out, I'm just gonna call them whatever the I feel like.
I'm not gonna expose you, because you're gonna help me pull a heist.
And now we're giving the creepy neighbor girl her own F-plot. Careful, movie, we've only got 26 letters in the alphabet. I'm not sure exactly how long the Mega Minions have been operating, but I feel safe saying it hasn't been long enough for t-shirts to be made and fandom factions to be formed. thinking this movie is ready to deal with the actual scientific consequences of a laser that can accidentally burn a hole through the entire Earth and cut a satellite in space in half on the other side. The heat energy to accomplish this alone would have ended life on this planet instantly, and also saved me from having to watch another hour of this
I have one of my brilliant ideas. Perry needs a fourth for tennis tomorrow.
These two would absolutely be into pickleball instead of tennis now, and nobody, I repeat, nobody, should be excited about playing a game called pickleball.
With the racket and with the ball so yellow and fuzzy.
My disgusted reaction after I realized certain internet rules also apply to the minions somehow makes it into the script.
Then we're all set. See you two at the club tomorrow.
But we're not going to tell you what time to meet us at the club tomorrow. But you'll figure it out and show up at the right time anyway, because that's how scheduling in movies works.
It was the night of the big show.
This blatant flashback exposition, even though the only other person in his roachmobile has apparently heard this story 1,000,000 times already.
Maybe it was just a coincidence.
In this movie? No! I shan't believe it! Not labeling which gas nozzle is which kind of gas. It's confusing enough when it is labeled.
Did you pull it out rapidly?
Yes, very rapidly.
2024 movie thinks that a credit card won't work at the gas pump joke from 1994 is still relevant. Movie is wrong. Unless this was a subtle reference to a conversation my worried college girlfriend and I had, in which case, bravo movie. Flashing your mesothoracic legs in a public setting.
Just, stretching before we hit the aisles.
Is that what we're calling it these days?
Lady? I didn't see a lady. Lady!
How many times can something be parodied before it becomes completely meaningless and uninteresting? Asking for a 2024 movie doing the 1000th T2 parody I've seen over the last 3 decades. Movie wastes this lady's talents on this dumb movie instead of entering her in a $1 million Jenga tournament. Groceries are bagged up now, even though Lucy left the store with the groceries before the bagging process could begin. This dance routine with the cat may be the funniest thing in the movie, and it lasts exactly 30 seconds and only shows that somebody intentionally refused to put this kind of creative thought into anything else that happens in this movie.
Didn't you steal the crown jewels when you were 12?
Gru thinks that Gru Jr. will understand what crime Poppy is accusing Gru Sr. of committing, or would even care if he could understand.
Hey, is that my old school?
Of course it is. How else would this movie make an attempt to tie all these loose threads together by the end? Trying to heist inconspicuously in your dad's personalized hot air balloon. Having this one's catchphrase be suppository instead of this one. Luckily and conveniently for the Mega Minions, there will be a crime or danger that requires each of their assistance and attention on their first night of field testing. And they will fail at all these things because they are minions, and these movies have gotten away with lowest common denominator humor since 2010. I'm less interested in the fact that he misses the purse snatcher and more impressed that he was able to make this piece of metal function like a boomerang. Almost manslaughtering everyone in the park because you can't control the superpower of boners. Having no shame in ripping off the best moments in both Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming.
I'm sick of superheroes.
This would almost be a clever dig at superhero movie culture if A, the movie itself wasn't trying to profit off of the trend itself, and B, this side plot had anything to do with the rest of the movie.
Gentlemen, our experiment has failed. You are officially going to be retired.
2027's already announced Mega Minions has entered the chat.
Where is the other bag with my gear?
Gru being upset about this when no one tried to tie up the hot air balloon at any point and everyone expected it to just hover there as balloons are wont to do. Reading at work, or just simply reading. Also, glad movie is spending so much time on this Brady Bunch-esque school mascot heist. It's not like there's an actual villain that's trying to take out Gru or anything. Also, if the movie's obvious theft from recent MCU and DCEU properties wasn't enough, I'm glad to see they're throwing in some Harry Potter shenanigans with this top-secret Hogwarts for villains for good measure.
Diaper.
Yellow bastard and what's his now decide to prep to disable the camera in full sight of the camera. And what makes it worse is they take longer in the camera's view to disable it than if they had just run across the hall to begin with. Hardy har, the baby's being an asshole again. But I'm more concerned with why you would have a bust on your desk that turns the security lasers on and off from there, instead of just a button or switch outside the door with a code that you activate after you are already out and deactivate before you come back in. Was the original occupant of this office named Professor Lauer?
Oh no! I ruined our heist!
To be fair, Poppy, the heist wasn't all that interesting to begin with.
No! What?
I believe what you meant to say was, this works. But also, no. Flying vehicle falls out of sight as if to crash. Will they survive? Oh no, I wonder if they're okay. And then they appear again. Oh goody, what a surprise cliche. With under 20 minutes left, movie continues to have time for this tennis with the neighbors bullshit.
Okay,
Let's do this.
Perry doesn't bat an eye at a fucking minion appearing on the tennis court and taking residence in the referee's chair. Are minions just accepted in this universe? Are they common knowledge? Letting the youngest sibling answer the doorbell. Also, are you telling me a safe house with a lockdown button doesn't have a door cam? What the hell, Ramsbottom? Desk sandwiches, beach popcorn. That cheese wheel was nowhere near big enough to melt into enough goo to cheese ski this far down the mountain, is a sentence I just said. Heifer snogging without explicit consent.
Now we have to get in there and find that baby.
Let's talk about the villain's plan. He wants to get in there and find that baby. That's it. That's the whole plan. In fact, this central villain was in the opening scene to get arrested, had a few very short parts where he escaped and took off in a ship to find Gru, gave some lip service to his motivation with about 15 seconds of talent show backstory, and then took a phone call and showed up here with about 10 minutes left in the movie. Movie took so much time with its B through G plots that it forgot how to A plot correctly.
Get in! We've got a baby to save.
You snuck out about 6 minutes ago and you're just now coming back over here to help? And how did you know you'd need discount Chitty Chitty Bang Bang? When you left, it was just Granny Pickle Pits that had shown up and she was inside the house looking for Lenny.
You got pee-pee all over my ship.
I'm just impressed we had to wait an hour and 14 minutes to get our first pee-pee joke. And it only took ignoring the fact that this baby would most certainly be wearing a diaper to make that happen.
And now he belongs to me.
Did the roach ray not only turn him into part bug, but also connect him to your brain to predict and mimic your moves? Why was that part of the cock gun never explored? You can say roach ray if you like, but I like my version.
This ends now!
Thing I've been hoping to hear for the past 80 minutes finally makes it into the script. Character that mere moments ago was taunting Gru because Gru didn't have flying powers like him somehow forgets to use those flying powers through this entire fall.
Dad.
Skip! None of the Gru crew is freaked out by this group of super minions they had no clue existed until now, or that their baby brother now has wings and roach arms.
Thanks, Dr. Nefario.
Yeah, awesome. I'm sure Gru Jr. won't be dealing with any trauma for the rest of his life about how he was turned into part bug for a period of time and then had to undergo major surgery to have the bug parts removed. I'm sure this kid's life will just be a fucking rainbow after this.
Lucky?
Movie expects me to feel something about this pooping goat it's barely given a passing thought to for the past 75 minutes. These two will now have a Tears for Fears sing-off, seemingly because of that oh-so-well-developed talent show plotline. But really, it's just an excuse to force-feed us every cameo from every Despicable movie in the franchise in hopes that we puke up some nostalgia, putting the bigger bird farther away from the heat source than the smaller birds. This lockdown button clearly had a cover when we saw it earlier, probably for the express purpose of keeping this kind of unfunny ending from happening.
Oh, that's nasty. Oh, they're so nasty.
He put my stuff in Jell-O again. So long, Maxim. Who's the loser now?
Le who? The her.
This guy.
Watch yourself, it's the claw. Oh, the claw's coming at you. Quiet!
We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore.
Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei!
You, tiny girl, step forward and tell us your name.
It's Brittany. My name?
It's Brittany, bitch.
What is the deal with these?
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
I think someone may have on or around the coat area. There's a smell of around the perimeter, the vicinity of coats.
Mine. Oh, Junior.
Like Indiana.
We named the dog Indiana.
And best of all, he hates you. He really does.
Give me back my son!